What's the dumbest thing someone has ever said to you? That we don't need farmers because we have grocery stores. A friend of mine asked me why we didn't see stars when we flew over them. She truly believed that when you were flying on an airplane, you flew over the stars. I was speechless. I met a girl in college that thought that after airplanes reach peak altitude, they then turn off the airplane and glide in the rest of the way. Yes, she had flown before. My old roommate pointed a laser thermometer at a pencil on a table inside our house. The laser thermometer read 68 Fahrenheit. He exclaimed, "This thing is broken." I asked why he thought it was broken. "This is a pencil. It doesn't produce any heat. This thermometer should say 0 inches. I stared at him for a few seconds, unable to collect my jaw off the floor. Well, 0 Fahrenheit would mean it is frozen, or well beyond frozen. So I think 68 is the temperature of the air in the room. This man was 26. His 2 adult brothers were sitting in this room. I was the only one who understood why the thermometer was correct. Used to work in Yellowstone. The amount of stupid coming through the park is unimaginable. Had a bison come and lay down close to the boardwalk at Old Faithful. A woman holding a toddler started running up to it. Luckily I had grabbed her by the back of her shirt and pulled her down. She kept screaming she was going to sue me and the lodge for ruining her perfect vacation photo. Then watching a 20-something walking out of the lodge in a swimming suit to go soak in the pots, telling another tourist that he could not walk off the boardwalk. He became angry and demanded to be allowed to do this. When this happens, we are on higher alert. We always had to watch tourists like they had IQs of 10. Wait, you're Asian? I thought you said you were Vietnamese. Someone once said that they couldn't wait for Halloween to fall on Friday the 13th. Last month a coworker asked if I'll run out of blood eventually because donate very couple months. He's 34 years old. Some guy on a Discord server insisted Pakistan is in Africa. I told him that Pakistan is in Asia and he called me racist and had a little rant. Had a similar talk with a Jagath in my high school. Chemical Clash tried to convince me India was part of the Middle East. He didn't even shut up about it when I told him I'm Indian and I know exactly where the hell I'm from. Just kept on trucking. Was it difficult for your husband to learn English? Is there a language barrier for you guys? My husband is Scottish, born and raised. Me, the it person, walking past a user in the office that was at her desk. Her computer was slow that day. No one ever realized that having opened 12 programs at once and 15 tabs in Internet Explorer would slow down the junky PCs we had. I said it over and over, but what would the IT guy know about computer performance? She yells out, "My computer is connected with a blue network cable and the rest of yours are all yellow. Mine must connect somewhere else and that's the reason why it runs so slow." My husband's mom is very ignorant and known to say really stupid things. Most recently we were in Italy and she asked why they don't just tear down the Colosseum because it looked so old. I was at the mall when this girl approached me and tried to pressure sell me iPhone screen protectors. I told her that I already have one on, which I installed myself. She replied, "No, you don't. I'm American and someone told me I don't mean to stereotype, but you look too white to speak Spanish." After I told my college student that I was taking Spanish courses, coming from a girl that always denounces stereotyping. I had an acquaintance claim that the earth must be flat because nobody's talking about the white landmass around the map and how it's a cover-up. He was pointing at the white rectangular border of the paper. While I was in college for an earth science degree, I served at a restaurant. The owner of the restaurant asked me if I knew what the moon was made of or how it was made. So I gave him a concise and correct response. He looks at me and goes, "Oh, that's what you think. Let me tell you what no one in the government will say," then proceeds to tell me how everything I'm learning is a lie perpetrated by corporate interests and that the moon was made by a group of scientists 3 billion years in the future who travel 6 billion years back in time and create the moon. He was dead serious. This dude was not joking. This was also in 2013, long before the Q-nuts, which I absolutely guarantee he is one. I had a classmate in high school BO once say she wanted to move to Australia. When asked why, She replied, I want to look out my window and see giraffes in my yard. No amount of convincing or documentation would convince her that giraffes were in Africa and not Australia. Similar vein, but less stupid, because he admitted he was wrong. My high school physics teacher thought I made up narwhals. In his defense, I absolutely had a penchant for drawing weird, made up creatures whenever the moment presented itself. We had to do a sock puppet show to explain something I don't remember, and I chose to make narwhals for my puppets because it was 2010 and I thought it was the funniest. He asked me if the creatures in my presentation were creatures I made up or if they were from mythology. I'll never forget the projector pulled up to the Wikipedia page on narwhals and my teacher scrolling through it going, this is crazy. I thought you made them up. I'm still angry about a teacher I had when I was 5 years old who challenged my class to name an animal for every letter of the alphabet. This was my thing. I loved animals. I collected information cards and models, and I was very precise about it. I had a WWF jigsaw puzzle. That's World Wildlife Fund, not wrestling, and it had narwhals on it. They wouldn't lie, so I knew. She got to N. I confidently said narwhal, and she told me off for suggesting a mythical animal. She didn't even want to hear about my jigsaw puzzle. The sense of injustice has never gone away. What? Maryland doesn't have any hospitals? My old friend. Hands down the stupidest man I've ever met. Heart of gold, though, once called me while he was in Maryland. We're from Ohio, and asked me to call 911 for him because he was having a panic attack and was genuinely worried that he was going to have a heart attack. I proceeded to explain that instead of calling me, he should call 911 himself or go to the hospital. He then started arguing with me that Maryland doesn't have hospitals. He legit thought hospitals only existed in Ohio. It took like 5 minutes to get him to understand that hospitals are literally everywhere. Still absolutely dumbfounded by that conversation 5 years later. I'm never going to quit smoking cigarettes. My aunt was healthy until she quit. Then she was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. This was said to me by my manager at a Domino's Pizza, Pennsylvania, USA. I didn't have the time or energy to explain to a man 3 decades my senior that she probably had cancer for a long time, but didn't go to the doctor until she was feeling withdrawal from the nicotine. So we finished our cigs and went back to slinging pizzas. I quit smoking and delivering pizza not long after. My grandma's friend and her daughter said they could hear the International Space Station fly overhead. It sounded like whoosh lol. Had a guy I was working construction with say, I hope the sun comes up on that side today, pointing west, because yesterday it came up on this side and it was so hot with us being on the east side of the building. Yeah, but that's not how the sun works lol. Was at a friend's place once years ago. We were late 20s, early 30s, farm on the prairies. Her not the sharpest tool in the shed boy toy was trying to determine which way was east, west, north, south. This is as the sun was setting. She points at the sun going down and says, the sun sets in the west and rises in the, while turning and pointing in the opposite direction. He thought real hard, and was very pleased when he proclaimed the correct answer, morning. I often hope he didn't procreate. Elementary school, we were learning about local Native American cultures and legends. One legend had all the men go off to war, except one boy or something, and it was left to him to continue the tribe's existence, or something like that. Got in a debate with a girl who loudly asked why didn't he just go and die too? The women can keep the tribe alive. Me, being worldly and having had the talk already, tried to explain that there would be no more tribe without at least one guy present. She yelled back, that's not true. We know how to fish. I had to be told to sit outside because I couldn't stop laughing. That genes go with gender. If the father has blue eyes and the mother brown eyes, the kid will have blue eyes if male and brown eyes if female. She said this as in all genes, not just eye color, and I know there is a bigger probability for some colors, but that was just an example. Recently talking to this one girl I knew from high school, she told me she didn't grow up privileged. Her father owns the only pizza restaurant in town, meaning he's a very wealthy person because everyone buys pizza from them. He's also from Sicily. He owns a home in Italy, so they go on a yearly trip for 1 month in the summer to Italy. She gets whatever she asks for. Her ex-fiancé who cheated on her is currently being blackmailed by her because he works for her father and he doesn't want to lose his job, so she is paying none of her bills. She just bought a house and her father just handed her a house, and she tells me she's not privileged. In that moment I decided to stop talking to her because I like people who are based in reality.